고추철을 우리 회사 전기를 거는 거 원론에 전기를 거는 거 원론에서 이거 Luz tadi. Tadi gol luz ya. Sudah. Nah. Cengge cam mulai. Bola bagus. Ini tinggal saja. Tinggal saja. Ini saja. Nama. Então, vai lá. Não. Vamos lá, visível.
들어가는 거죠.
그것만 이제 Hello, good evening everyone. So now we'll begin. So first we'll begin with the prayer to Manjushri. So prayer to Manjushri. Lama Gombo Jaza Yama Janga So now we're going to do this short 7 branches of offering. That normally you can get it in our Namchu daily practice book. First, the short 7 branches, it's on 65, page 65. And then the next, the short mandala and request for teaching is on page number 180. So that page number 65, we will just recite one stanza and then go to page number 180 if you have this Namchu daily practice book.
Jolly Janju Dai John, my singing congregation, Mason in Lamy Tony John, Jambaji to the Paniba, so there's some called the Valentine before in the very Chesato, the Pipin. Timmy Chaja Dai John, Chidakan Dolaji, the museum to the son of the Namina, the band, because the Dai John, the Jerry Sebola, on the two on the shower, from the Donald. Jimmy John, Bejaji, Ritonjama, Genetalo, Gomilon, Bobby Dejero, Udojana Jagan, Banjamian, John, Hongapala, Palapatan, the Magis. La Batadon, which La Ben, which La Manaja Dai, John, and the Sonja Canana, but it's only Canela loving it, I make a lot. Nilo Doverja, Ginger, no, Condaji Don Gajerana, the yellow Murjaba Consulat, and the Major Jamaica, Samantha Batan, like the little American, American, and 탄지게도 저자 저저지 맞을도 나고다 냠비 현재 탄지지 단도 타도 댄제 대화라나메 바용도 바 조비 손지지 고모를 뭐chen 거버지 냠비 삼바 중유 초도 투시바다 제데 디셈버 나와 쇼스.
So firstly generate bodhicitta, that thinking equal to all the space that all the sentient beings, in order to lead them to complete enlightenment. For that purpose, I'm going to listen this teaching.
강선발 자비담이 최지르만이 네 양원에 하는 거 지금 이제 루니지 땡들라다 빠는 없어야です.
Then the actual teachings, which is composed by Jagir Nirvana Burchi, that the title is the treatise on the modes of being, the precious jewel that gathers forth divinities and glory.
단디 오늘 조 여자들 가르쳐하고 그러잖아. 당아서 담빌 타적 당 이때 밀루기 제바 니여빈노니 니도 밀루고 온도 시비기 야랍 그 제바 라랍소테 다시 얘기해야겠어.
And the main or the core theme of this scripture is that normally in Dharma teachings there's two main theme. That one theme which is the guiding the path of liberations, and then the another one that the how to become a good person. So how to kind of like make oneself the perfect or the good person, kind person. So this scriptures mainly guiding or the teaching how to make the good persons or the kind person.
제지 가서는 말어 속에 건지대 밀루고 온도 시비기 제나야 아니 미첸디 단다 담바지다 피손 소바지 용구여나 아니 야라 담비셔바데 라라보야 바지다 응은지 지르요레스.
And therefore, in order to have a successful life, or in order to have a meaningful life, that what we are recognizing is the having a kind mind, or the good characteristic is the cause of being success and meaningful life.
다든지 야라 담비기 셔바 데라 아니 사버 제발라 아니 자생라보데 가르송 그래 여르센 시바이나스.
And in order to train into become a good person, then what are the conditions, or what are the favorable conditions required is
아니 고대위 온도 제네 장거를 뭐 말로 제게네 ndeboda dembiki jonshikila pek kanadne sumbares.
And in order to make it simple or easy to understand, and there for that purpose that Nirvana Buddha used this metaphor or the example that the complete tree which has a fruit and everything, that he used this metaphor of trees in order to have a complete, perfect tree, and what characteristic or what required in order to have a perfect tree. And similar like that, he used as an example for humans to, how to say, have a perfect or complete the good person.
Min tsama ki game che sa ki xin yang xin ren tang da de ma jin ge na ni zawa chu dong bo je ni ya ga tang de ni lo ma ni me do nge bu che ne de ni ko nim ra bo che ni cha chen ra bo chu ta ma ji da nge par de yo go yo res.
And in order to become a complete or the perfect tree, and the tree requires to have all this characteristic, which is the root, trunk, branches, leaves, flower, and fruit. Those 6 facilities or 6 characteristic trees in order to become a perfect tree.
Tene ke da ko 정신 찍라 빼거네 아니 대단 난이 지는 거로 저기 여러 담비 쪄발은 세년지 용거나 아니 자체 아니 두암다 니네 찍고 종이 된다 맞지 거 그래서 잡아랬어.
And likewise that how this in order to have a complete or perfect tree requires these 6 things. And similar, in order to become a complete or perfect person or the good, kind person, and also required those 6 or that 12 characteristics. So the 12 characteristics means 2 of them, matching with all of those 6 examples. So 2, which actually has a 12 characteristic, but it can summarize into 6 as well.
대체리 가서 가서 빼나 아니 정신 체대 된바지 대보다 로마다 야가도 정말 비선 초와라 자와대 아버지 추고를 봤어.
And for instance, and in order to complete the tree, all those fruitions and flowers and all. So in order to have all this perfect, first what it is required is to have a proper root.
대나이 전에 아니 그 메디게 미세데 니라다 빨도와 그 표성 소바지 용거나 아니 그 레년제 투비게 네 신양 남초 되니지다 아니 메이 안 소마게 이체스로마다 메카로마게 아니 그 주도메바 템보다 장고지가데 그 차전 당보들에스다 자와는.
Likewise, that in order to become a kind or good persons, or in order to gather these divinities and glories within oneself, and what is required, like a root, is those 2 characteristics, which is the sensible and being trustworthy, or we can use that as a temperament or personality.
다때나 대체디 갑슬레 디니보데다 가서 뭐말에 쉬차레 가서나 디디치 차레스 다 디니디 칼체슈레스.
And these 2 characteristics is like a root, so therefore it is most important among those 12 characteristics.
근데 데이토라 아니 자와대 아버지 추차기 제소는 다 동보대 아버지랑 이게 제 용화당 제 교화지 자고레스.
And based on this root, these 2 characteristics, and then all the trunk and branches will going to grow well.
대나이 전에 데이테 강라 근데 가르고스나 아니 단다 첼이야 봐다. 근데 봐야 봐니 못해. 다 신동지를 창천만 있는 동본다 보지.
So based on this root, then what the another let's say in order to become a complete tree, what it requires another thing is the trunk. So trunk, it's trunk, like a trunk. What needs in order to become a good or kind person is the modesty and conscientiousness. Or the carefulness. Actually, this is talking about carefulness.
다 대치디 가서 다 첼이야 봐서야 돼. 동보 따보게 디게 아니 첼이야 봐다 봐야 봐니야 보면 첼이야 봐서야 돼. 간지를 고월에서나 자왕 멤바 이된데노라 지대야 그 자왕 넘바 그리라 셰티니 심바체니 딜라 잡 초야 딜라 아니 첼이야 봐서라 월에서
So so the modesty and consciousness or carefulness, it's like a trunk. So the modesty here means that the accordance to the mundane, whatever consider as bad or whatever consider the behavior and attitude considered as improper or bad, and from the bottom of one's mind, that what we call the hesitating to engaging into those kind of behavior and attitude, and such that kind of sense, it's called the modesty. And then the second characteristic is the carefulness, and then here they translated this conscientiousness.
더 봐야 봤어요. 미지 영칼은 로야 두디가솔레 마사야 그냥가체니 같이 소소 잡자 제거반 셈바 dim니 잡자 제거반 나이게 안에 고 롱크 고송 근셔티 아니지 젠데다 치마단 가위게 내가 논투쇼야라 안에 고 양내 양도 셰지 따제체니 And
what does it mean, this conscientiously or the careful means the example, it's like a man who is walking on the edge of the steep cliff, always being extremely careful, isn't it? So same way, the meaning is that the person who is always careful with their physical, verbal, and mental activities, that which is opposing or kind of like the wrong actions, and being careful to engaging into any kind of those kind of wrong actions, it's called carefulness.
다 디게 단다디 시에운데 가서는 다 단다 림바카지데 가서 뭐말 슈바레스.
And then the meaning of this carefulness or the conscientiously, the sum of the meaning of it already described before.
다 드린 참네마 슈바이나 동위로도 매나야
And today we're going to start where we stopped last. It's the page number 15, the third last, the line.
동일로도 매나야 세노 차수 문지바 힘이 희비 두유게 내가 밤에 바이션스.
It's even though they do not have the strength of mind to give food or money to other, and without saving provisions and money for the future, they act like they have uncontrolled conduct, dissolving what savings should not be dissolved. This is also the fault of carelessness.
다 가르세가 그랬으나 아니 다 소소 문에 전에 게 셀려동게 셀리농게 자와 가서고 셀리농게 네 핀솔라 로도네 아니 지 자더 세니바 차메나스.
So what does it mean is that they genuinely from the one's heart, that without having the genuine renunciations or genuine completely revulsion towards the mundane.
저기 가서 소소라 예비 그거 뭐 가래나야 얘는 제비기 니고 당화다 좋아 매hin도.
And without having the interest to giving to others one's belongings.
소소 들라 밤이기 가래나야 제나야 매버서나야 밤바 매바 참매나.
And not becoming the able to completely letting go all the belongings.
또 근데 매hin도 소소 그 가서는 집 반조이나 같이 있는 여가 그 뭐보 가래네 현진다 창제 여대봐.
And having all this attachment and then willing to have all this wealth and money.
이나야 다 소소 근데 이인도 세이나야레 노르이나야레 다 소소 그 중에 잘라 가래 이나야 다고야 본 맞jet나 맞jet바 남이 유가나스.
Although we have this attachment and also willing to have all these facilities, food and money and so on, but yet still not taking care properly all these provisions.
힘인 희비세우드 가서라 그 센디게 아니 평소라 로히네 자달 차메나야 아니 자다게 아니 근셔다 지바이나세
And
제댕에 대세.
that even though oneself is not completely able to abandon all the attachment, but pretending that oneself is able to abandon all the worldly necessary or the provisions.
대야 아니 밤에 박션 셔레마도 대 야랍 담비가 근셔 마레스.
And that kind of behave is also carelessness. It is not considered as a sacred conduct.
제지디 가서라 소소 문에게 아니 철을 합용치 전대농 현바도 아니 그 평소를 로도니 창지다 현지 매바 차나 아니 뭐보 가나요 당지 매바 제초레스.
And in a genuine out of our studying this old Buddha Dharma and having a genuine experience and renunciations, and out of those kind of like a realized recognitions, if one neglecting all these provisions, then that may be okay.
근데 담바 샤자토바 이나야 소소 그 좀요 코단 자시데 제바 소마 니우니 페바라스.
For instance, Shakyamuni Buddha himself, that he abandoned all his wife and his reputations and the enthroned of being a king and all those wealth, and he just abandoned all behind and then he escaped or ran away.
초진이 사는 동안 담바 샤자토바게 아니 파게 그 자시데 중앙라 타키 여고 짜루 때문에 그 자진지야라 제가 쇼요레스.
And from the one's perspective, that father of Shakyamuni Buddha has a great hope on him to become a king and take care of the continuance of his kingdom.
근데 그런 게 아니 주모이나야 아니 냥도 대제는 자시데 문튀네 중앙라 제가 쇼요레스.
And likewise, also father, the king father, has a great hope on him that he may remain and stable with his wife and then take care of all the families and the kingdom.
Tonight, go say that Jenzinaya, go nomi Jenny, Cron, Party, non the Cronk, Patch, and non so what you watch in the Jena, Gabo.
Likewise, the son of Buddha, Rajanzen, Rahul, also like to have his father in his home in palace.
Naya, Dangazo, Sonji Tomlin, the Jitin Pinsoke, Carson, Sheganachi, Jitin, go Carsegure, Jalcon, Choyela, Shoson Pedicas, Sheganachi, Yek, Neton, the Zijin, Koan de la Tsendiki, and the Pinson Tomala, Lord Doni, Sentini, that meaning Evan Juni Tony, Unidona, Digures.
And yet that
Drawing some Digures.
The in Shakyamuni Buddha's case, because he understood, recognized the nature of samsara, and he saw around his palace all this natural, the birth, old age, sickness, and death by his own naked eye. And then out of all these educations and recognitions, and he genuinely from his bottom of heart that he developed this renunciation to the mundanes, to the world. And if that's the case, then that's abandoning everything behind or giving everything away. It's okay.
Tate ko chönol sama tonaya te ko cheda demba chadigore niden tol sama tonaya da rama kron deba titol chidika sole ko cheda niden kana ngabiyo maras.
And that kind of behavior is not contradicting accordance to the spiritual dharma as well as accordance to the mundane as well. Because accordance to the dharma, that is kind of like he's doing this out of renunciation. And then accordance to the mundane, it is also not contradicting because he's doing this is all because his own wishes that he's kind of like using his own freedom.
Tende mahi ba chene ko ngacho ke namjun ke na yin ke ko ala shenja yede ba tone ne sozo ke zame putu nomi aba ke ta rewa chama yu ne tende da jindo ya bana tati ko pame bada jaba ngemi ke chosun do weres.
And that if the Buddha did it, all this behave with this kind of background, let's say that he just, although he wished to have all this wife and the wealth and reputations and fame and everything, but still, and if he just pretending and abandoning all this wealth and so on, if he does that, then that kind of behavior is really contradicting, and that kind of behavior is contradicting with the Dharma, as well as that kind of behavior is really becomes carelessness.
Mazoke chi jungo boyine da karina sosolo dawn bi ngobo tezola da shonchi cheda majak sanzam tela ni sosu gi jira tachi chene sanzam de ngese ma de kechambores.
And then how to judge oneself or how to understand oneself, that whether one should take care of one's belongings or not, and we need to kind of like analyze one's own mind and whether we are able to really let it go all this or not. And that will going to be the kind of like a border or how to check that whether one should give all this away or not.
Teje ane pecha yawaina patru mo chena waina ko chadre chene da ko tinde chene karsone ko ani romo wa 주마지라고 지는 패대거레스 남지.
Likewise, for instance, the great master Palyul Pema, and he is also normally that he just wandering around just like a very poor beggar.
다 공개 가지고 난 남지께 고용다게 만도 냐네 제다야. 그래서 남이 샤는데 담아라봤어.
And that Palyul Pema, he is the one that the well-known preliminary teaching called the words of my perfect teaching. That is actually composed by him.
대치디 가서 드니 코리 다 땀냥다다 다 드니 코로만다고 드니 노동치알라 투니에버 천이고요 말했어.
And yet he doesn't really have interested to gather the disciples and the and then gathering all this wealth, that he doesn't have any interest to gathering wealth and gathering disciples. So therefore he always not dwelling in one place. During that time, that he was actually very famous, that many people knows the Palyul Pema. That everybody heard about Palyul Pema.
이나야 콩문에데 간에요 디송나 이빠져야 되네 이 말에 그 디치디 가서네 그 무슨 예능의 뉴 잡고 그랬어.
But yet on the other hand, and the many people doesn't really know how Palyul Pema really looks, because during that time there's no any photographer and so on, so there's no any picture or image of Palyul Pema. So therefore many people, they have heard his name, but yet they don't really know who's Palyul Pema and how he looks. And then Palyul Pema himself, he's always wearing this very low, kind of like a, the very common or poor quality of clothes. And then as well as he's also just kind of like a outlook looks like very poor, and then just going around. And then when he dwell in one location, then eventually people begin to recognize. And when people begin to recognize, then people are gathering in that place. And then he's running away from that location. And then occasionally or sometimes, that when people recognize him as a Palyul Pema, then people are really willing to offer whatever they can. And then in Tibet during that time, that some people also offering that gold and silvers, and also the sea, that in Tibet this is considered as a very precious substance, things they call the sea. So that kind of very precious gems that people used to offer to him. And then what he's doing, that wherever he got all this offer, either while drinking, or the place where he's drinking tea, or place where he's resting, and then he just leaving all these things, the gold and silver and sea, that's all precious gems, just on that spot, and then he just walk away. And so from the common perspective, it is a little bit strange that the person who offering all these things, they valuing these things, the gold and silver and sea, all those so much. So they just offering the very with the very respecting or very valuable things. But yet the Patrul Rinpoche just neglecting or ignoring all this and then leaving just all this offering wherever he got offer on that spot and then walking away. Isn't it strange?
이나야다 코니경은이 고 저기 니루디 차송지 또 참니 코안데 분소를 로도 차디 가서 데 토바겐도 시에 제여 말에 파쇼야겐도 시에 제여 여 말에 그 남지가 사다 도나니 통된 거를 당하라 지동 양네 고 직들 제디 가서는 디디거스.
But from Patrul Rinpoche, his own precepts, or from his own view, and because of he realized all this true Dharma nature, so therefore, and that he doesn't really have that the thinking that I got this offer, and then also he doesn't really have the kind of like a problem to letting those all goes, because he from his view this all these things, the gold and silvers, are not different than all this ordinary stone and sands and so on. So he just treating all of this are equal. So in that case, then that is okay.
나 디나이 진행하자를 못 책라야 되니 그런 로지히야 열에서.
And likewise, also that our late holiness also has some of history like this.
테마지라다 거기 그가 남돌리데 동보 젠네 데디카솔라다 베샤시다 여마르스.
And then one occasion that when our late holiness building this Namdoling monastery, and he doesn't have much money to.
근데 다바라 데스다 존정무디 근데 다샤제야게 차전다고 매제 이 중만하고 되네 몸에 이만 감바라고 되네 나는 샤워레스.
And when began to they began to when someone came to become a monk under him, and then when he got some disciples that who's willing to become a monk, and then he thought to build some room for them to stay, so he made it out of those bamboo tree.
근데 다 년람이 비기다 배반 변이 주 저거게 배바 다 캠지바다 손바세 되게 통대대 저게 통들었습니다.
And then
강강하여 봐.
while he is doing that those village people that nowadays that fourth came and third came, which are very nearby our Namdoling monastery, and those all people actually seeing it what he's doing.
그런 소야 같대디래 그 벽 뒤주 그 톤에 지금 오늘 얘기도 그야 말한 라바 동바치는 저거 이제 짠자 차이에서.
And then during that time, those village peoples, they themselves also doesn't have anything, because they just escaped from Tibet in an empty hand, because of that the cultural revolutions, they didn't get any chance to take their own belongings from Tibet.
그것도 자가게 돼 마이샤뼈 렌체 산에들 렌체디 가서는 니 딱된데 노노라 라차된데 신도사 랑가레사 랑가야 고사 파포사나고 라차 강루체네 니 고좀들 빠위어스.
And then that those Tibetans are refuge in India, and then this Jagarwe from that Indian government, sometimes they bring all this kind of like tools to make something. constructed
Langwale,
equipment. Yeah. So the constructed equipment, which is something, some sort of like to cut the trees and to make a road, that kind of many equipments they load on a truck and then they just drop everything in the village.
아니 거저 니마 당포 사발렘디 니마 nga ngaso jene ko kala tene lele shayares yaure seidus.
And when they came firstly, and then the Indian government will let them rest 5 days without doing anything.
대 예술을 다 되게 라차 코고네 네 맨소마 반디지는 메르를 라차를 때.
And after 5 days, then this truck will come and drop all the equipments to make a road and cut the trees and so on. And then they will give each person to each equipment and then let them work.
근데 소소소라 라차 가래 타면은 내가 들은 로야레스 신도 사이클 라차라이는 신도 건라야레 사과야 라차라이는 사과야 라야레스.
And whatever the equipment that in the person get it. For instance, if they get it, the equipment to cut the tree, then they need to go to cut the tree. If they got the equipment, if they get the equipment to make a road, then they have to go to make a road. Whatever they got the equipment, according to that equipment, they need to understand what they need to do.
되게 돈이 그 자가 용금이 땅이 되고 토쟁에 니마를 내가 내면 토쟁에 그 드다르르르를 배차고 뭐지니 같이 되면은 딜라이트 되지 소한테 지대요 리스크 되게.
And then there's one Indian guy who is so kind of like a management who is who
attend notice.
The management this is something. So management will going to take care how many people are there. Supervisor or management will going to take care that how many people came and how many people worked each days. And then after 7 days, and then this Indian government will going to pay something that according to how much they worked.
이나야다 고조 그런 뭐지 되게 고제야반 통치니 그래서 그 배샤 되지네. 아니 사반년에 다샤자사케 사바드니 퓨어레스.
And even though those village people, they themselves has a very difficult or about financials, yet that our holiness willing to build some room for the monks. So therefore, they collected all the monies and then they buy some brick and then they offer to our late holiness. And then all this brick are put on the one side and then making the plan to build the room. And during that time, and there's another village, and where is a little small the yogi monastery. So that yogi monastery, and they invited our late holiness to bless the place and then consecrate it. And then he visited there. And then after he completed blessing and consecrating all the place, then Holiness talked with them. They had a conversation. Then Holiness asked how you were going to build and what is your plan and all this. And then actually they don't really have any plan.
고조 따지 신그 신론다고 니만다고 되게 저 요라존 제아레마도 되게 사바다보다 콤발란서 제아 자전케여서 말았어.
They also have this very rough plan. They just want to build by those wood and whatever they can get it from the natural sources. They don't have really plan to build by all those brick and so on, concrete and brick.
근데 뭐 제기다 개야 말에 말 사바티지요. 대처서 내가 쇼. 안에 생기 되고 있는데 고조 그때 빼셔 뒤에 그게 돼. 니마지 오르차스.
And then the holiness told them, okay, if that's the case, then I have some brick. So just come down and take it, all those brick. And those are the brick that actually those nearest to village people offered to him for him to build a room for the monk.
근데 니마지레 오르야 톤 얘기 코르사디 가서라니 그 피딩에게라 메모한테 좀 뭐지에서라니 자제네. 니 사바테서 가와콜로를 가르치어라 세디 가서. 니 나한테 소이 고졸라야 가야민도 니 고졸레 저절레 때고선데 라미 수마레스.
And then when the people came to take away all those brick, and then those village people, which is nearby the Nanduri monastery, and then they saw it, and then some of those village people concerned and worried about, and then they came to holiness and then asked, who are they and how they are taking all these bricks away. And then holiness explained that, oh, I visited them and that they want to build some monastery for their they have this kind of plan, so therefore I just give it to them.
다 딘디다고 그랬어. 가르스는 되게 고리 가르송스는 다 제 나래 메나야 고졸레 메야 찍바래샤니 고졸레 메테야 수마레스.
And then the fact I don't have it, but also they don't have it either, so I just gave to them. And then it is same, he said it.
대치디가 설레다 딘디게 소속은이 그 예대 편속을 도니 아니 그 찬지 현지라고 짠 메나 아니 딘디라고 나나야 그 저한테만 넣어던 템바 뭐니 자고그랬어.
In this way, when you doesn't really have attachment or grasping towards all this material or the wealth, then behaving in this way, just letting it go, whatever belongings, that is that becomes accordance to the Dharma, and that is also becomes accordance to the I would say it is not contradicting anything.
자때나 이 눈만 열었을 때요. 나도 단다 천재를 붙였습니다. 붙이 그 빼면서 이렇게 그 자체만 나치네. 아니 안에 온다 눈인데 소야게 제대로 만들는 데네슈는 되게 제열했어.
And likewise, that kind of many different occasion happened like that. For instance, another occasion that our Late Holiness used to invite this Holiness Dilgo Chenze Rinpoche, the previous Dilgo Chenze Rinpoche, to Namdole Monastery to grant the empowerment and to give teachings and so on.
딱 거기를 패고도 온 데네순 다바마 거기게 쇼 담모나순 네 다마 온 차로디 가서는 뭐야 제고디 가서는 거기게 젠콘노라 카레 여바 참아 너도 제바 참아 피네 피야 그랬어.
And then when our Late Holiness inviting this Holiness Chenze Rinpoche to Namdole Monastery to grant empowerment and give teachings and transmissions, at that time he himself and he is letting all his monks to receive all these teachings and empowerment together. And then at the end of the empowerment and teaching, then he used to offer that whatever belonging he has, he completely making empty of his own house. Even the small pan on those container, all together, he offered completely.
그거 전생도 코나밖에 이제 발트니 여지를 와서 전생을 뭐 제나야 삼은 남도 그랬어요. 세기도스.
And also from Dugochenze Holiness Dugochenze Rinpoche, and he is also taking all of them, whatever he got offered from him. might have some reason behind, I don't know, but somehow he used to take everything, whatever holiness offered to him.
ngazo yedido yamare ngazo lepdido yamare inaya hieda ke machenchi yersi dus ta mejara bodichi.
And while I was there, and how to say, this is all, everything is past, and but there is one cook of the Nanjuling Institute, the Manjuling Institute cook, the old cook.
Ko petrolong urse lama chembo de une yabo munduse garsonor moje ki chala soma kudo dusene.
And that old the cook of the Shedra or the institute, and he was there, and then he always getting very mad when the Gochinja Rinpoche is visiting the Nangalore, because he thinks this Lama taking everything from our holiness.
자 그런 시차자 삼마다나데 당아저 rinpoche 제간지 여마레 띠지 여조데 쿨로도 탱여로 봤어.
And from his own point of view, that he is also doing this out of kind of like a how to say, in a good way, that he knew that our Lord Holiness doesn't really have anything, so therefore he's getting a little mad out of it.
저때 지디가 없을래 네 다다 코리 그거네 가리 여바데 상마 되는지 피가 어디 갔을래 아니 영샤 되는 코드야 돼 당연히 맞게 가서 이제바 돈은 모션 중으로 써야게 그 뭐여도 차고도 왔어.
And that really shows clearly the examples that although he's giving all his belongings away, but still that all the facilities, all the wealth, it is coming back automatically to him. So that really shows that normally we have this advice saying that if you give, and then the giving away is the way to get it back. So that really shows by this all examples.
테마지란 천자를 뭐지 패디 가서래 셔다게 로그 보고 되자고 따야게 제들 TV지 연결 때야 대표인 키도레스.
And then at the one time that when the Gujans visit, that they used to have one small television. The television, that television is for the institute students. When they have a Saturday, Sunday, they used to watch that television. And then one time, the Holiness, Lord Holiness, also offered that televisions to the Gujans Rinpoche.
대디 감반노는 거를 TV지 님마다 되는 이유가 말이야.
During that time, even within a whole monastery, there's only one or two televisions out there.
보고도 빼면서 녀르지.
At that time, all the students of institute got very mad.
다 드네다 보게 소소지 고 니테 편sol로 로도잖아. 닝어 볼에 찬지 매비 돈이 되게 제초원했어.
In this way, that if one genuinely able to let it go, if we genuinely renounce from all this worldly wealth, then behaving in this way, it's no problem.
다 드네게 아니 건 찬지다 현지 찬지 도차와 많이나 닝어보다도 돌아 대미게 주저다 돌아 동아야 말했을 때 동나 밤이 차도 그래서 세거래서.
And here, this advice, what it means is that without having that kind of realizations or the renunciations, and then she kind of like the letting it happen, whatever to our belongings, and then that becomes very exploited. That's what means it's carelessness.
대체적 가서는 아주 되게 돈이 누구한테 줬다고 하면 잡자체가 뺏게 참버렸어.
And therefore, particularly like this kind of country, and this is something we need to pay more attention.
가인세는 당 아주 지 쇼우라고 지 배셔 동화 있나야. 소소문이 배셔 동거야 그 쇼우지 있나다. 그 소소 그 배셔된 로소 돈에 배셔 돈은 지그려 왔어.
So for instance, even one example, that when we use the paper and the
쇼우 배셔 땅에 열하다. 라바치
so the napkin or all those toilet paper or whatsoever we're using, that if we really need to use the whatever the portions, then if it is really worth to utilize all this, then maybe it's okay.
근데 많이 봐. 소소 녀가 저 있나야. 미기 떼고 저 있나야. 나 지금 밤에 전에 거나 마거나 마보지 마 취재 동야야 돼. 밤에 그 초를 놓으러
And not really needed that much portions, but yet either you buy it yourself or give it by offered by someone else, but unnecessarily and utilizing the so much paper unnecessarily. That is also the carelessness.
배나다데 쇼우라고 되죠이나 맞아 그 신기 조고 그게 제가 왔어.
For instance, all this paper actually has to make out of all those trees.
그때 그 잠불린데 가서 디란 얘기 짜기바 맞아 짠이 짜송 짜기 전에 그 민초고 왔어.
And this world is not just this 21st century, and this 22nd century and 23rd century yet to come. That in this way, all this human being has to survive.
지치디 가서 코스톤 쳐야 지발라 신동 대조 그거를 봤어.
For them to survive in this world, they also needed those old trees.
맞아 배는 나와라서 봐 대조 토리 민초 맡아야 돼 신동 매백이 좀 잘해 왔어.
And for instance, on the moon, that and so forth, all those another planet, that why human beings are unable to survive because of not lacking or not having trees.
맞아 그 우대 그 옥시젠데 정말 신동을 내고 말았어.
Yeah, so our oxygen and everything has to come from the trees.
티 나롱 그 배샤 그 년조이 효 같이 배샤 동나에 맞지 거지 마거니 촐라당야 인사데 다다 되게 말았어.
So therefore, that even though that those all papers is bought by ourselves, but unnecessarily utilizing and kind of like wasting, it's not proper.
계속 돌아가는 가서 그 삼만 땅에 잘 말았어. 나도 롤 자디 가서 초마 자야 그 리어 말았을 때.
And that really we need to pay attention. It is not something okay that when we are gone, everything make mass.
그나 이 사마이나 대가랑 그랬어.
Likewise, the fruit.
그 그나도 사고래 소소 가서 저거 맞아봐도 사고래 그 이마지에 가서 사고에는 소소로 거저때 땅다 사고 그랬어.
And whatever exactly needed in order to fill up your stomach, in order to avoid the starving, hunger, then yes, you need to eat as much as you can.
야포 가서 사고에나 저번은 저야 간에다 붙여 사투에나 사고 그랬어.
Nutritious or whatever the organic best food, if you're able to eat, then it's okay to eat.
촐라당해요 말았어.
But it is not okay to rest.
그래서나 단단 가서 그 건담을 린데 놓노라 세게 강아테 댕에 그 가서는 뭐에 그 포댕에 뭐고 여기 말았어.
And why it is because even within this world nowadays, we have some other place where they have a very difficulties by striving.
세 가래이나 당 아주 샤데 디 두아나 부지기요 파타디 카투나 버지 고 샘첸론 샘첸 세디 뭐 보레데레 마도 콘제이나 트로이나 다 세리 체이나 가래이나야 샘첸 무슨 라서 버세 양조다 메몽부지 깔리 잡양조게 뭐 짱에 다 되어res.
And the obviously that meats when we eating those all food meats, this all comes from animal product, which is really obvious that it has to come from by killing all those animals. And Also, there's some other foods like rice and so forth. And all those vegetarians is also that has to come out of very hard work from human beings and also by killing many of the insects and so other uh, beings.
Pene Shinto Apple do Chichibur Sanotona, Nico Apple ko Casegota, Rava Segura Color, Apple Linga Segura. Tinola, and Apple de la Buma Jaya Chitola, Bomet Jebu.
For instance, if we just use this example, let's say the field of apple tree. And within that field of apple tree, in order to kind of like not to become rotten and exploit all those apple, that how much we need to utilize the chemicals to kill all those insects and bees.
Tenique Shinton, Tia Machene, Jene, Makuloma, but Mikateke Kalejam Tela, co legal layers.
And from the beginning, it's growing the fruit to the until it's ripened. Until that, within that, during that period, how many people work hard and how many beings are got killed for that purpose.
The Tison Zombly, Somba de Joking, Mokortanchine, Jagale Change Nujula Chugore, Nujula Change de Jagala Pati Gore, Janala Change de Ariel Chugore, and Ariel Change de Janal Pati Gores.
So,
Cososo Chesa, so Saki Womars.
So nowadays that we are deceived by all those businessmen, and that the whatever grow all this vegetable or the fruit here, and they all shipping that to India and other countries. And then whatever grow in India, all those fruit, and we shipping those businessmen shipping all this to here in these countries like America, Canada, and then likewise China and all those different countries. That the bottom line is that the whatever growing the fruit and the wherever growing the place, those people not really getting how to say, not really getting at those fruit where it grows actually. Therefore, that when we shipped all this fruit here and there, and in order to ship, we need to utilize all those trucks and all this, and then at that time, how much we making those pollutions.
Janul Tori Kazaton, Saint Kazson, Selu, and Apple Jig Tandalas, Zamlin Tuaton, Tori Kazeton, Tenayichin Cote Yajapoche to Rimando and Book Samada to Musi Saint Kazesedu. Tenayichene, and then Mekaseka College and the Chorongi, Hindo, the Chorongi Tonono, Malepatola. Kasechi that they Kamate Dusra.
So until this apple, which we get it, until this apple get into our fridge, and what the process it's gone there, that how much pollution, that how much the destroyed this our world by for this purpose, for this apple purpose, and then how many beings are got killed for this purpose, and then how many people put so much effort and hard work for that apples, that the apple which we get it to our fridge, which one this one apple actually how to say interfere or what do you call it, disturbed and got killed, and so many problems created by this one fruit.
Tichidi Castle, Aborina Ri, Carichuna Chun, Sanya Tronato, Sanya Madurina Ri, Kongarong Pechat in Arab Ninjora Samatana, no worries.
Therefore, and this whether this apple that what I get it, whether it's rotten, whether it become rotten or whether I eat it or whatsoever, it is my wish. If we think that way, it is because I bought it, I paid it money. If it is my wish to, whether I eat it or whether let it rotten or whatsoever. If you just do like that, that's kind of like a mistake. Likewise, also let's say we went to hotel. And then let's say that in those hotels, there's many facilities such as like televisions or hot water and the heater, cooler, many facilities are prepared. And then we pay for instance, for one day, that how much they ask, how much it is cost, that we are paying for it. And then after we pay and we stay in this hotel, and then while we staying in the hotel, that if I feel cold, then yes, it is right to utilize the heater. And then if I feel hot, then it is right to utilize the air conditioner. Likewise, if I like to watch some television, then maybe turn on televisions and watch it. Likewise, that whatever one really needed to utilize it, we are allowed, it's right to utilize, because we pay for it, and then all this owner of the hotel also calculated all these facilities in that amount of whatever the cost for the day.
아니 당에 저녁에 영어도 대차를 내 가르쳐줘야 되는 소소 그 막연히네 로이나리 추이나리 자다이나리 그 아조이나리 또 소마 초라다니 다 간주면 좀 배셨다잖아. 그 밤에 잘 알았어.
And but on the other hand, that the thinking that, oh, I paid it for this one day, the hotel fee. So therefore, regardless whether I really wanted to watch televisions or not, regardless whether I really wanted to use this heater or not, so just kind of like utilizing everything by thinking that I paid it already, now I must use. And then likewise, kind of like massing up this all bed sheets and towels and all this, behaving in this way by thinking I paid it already, all the fees. That is actually something careless.
되게 저런에 가야 팬토고 말았을 때 들이지야게.
It doesn't help anything oneself.
타조 되게 라콘 존데야 되고 지캡송지라나 전에 니다 전에 깔레전에 제대로서.
And then the owner of that hotel, and he is also putting effort and working hard for his profit.
대치디 가서 대돌레 빼마시기 자서 제가 이렇게 참을했어.
So therefore, even this kind of things that we need to be careful.
제산들이 세노 차스 문제바 미기 희비두게 내가 밤에 쉬어라 인수한테 다 대소라고지를 쓴 거였어.
And therefore, they saying the what do you call that? They act like they have uncontrived conduct, dissolving what saving should not be dissolved. And this is also the fault of carelessness. That before one day, even though they do not have a stand of mind to give food or money to others without saving prevention and money for the future, that is also the carelessness. So therefore, even though we are utilizing some others' belongings, somebody's things, and we must use that things as how we use for ourselves.
제나기 딱지고 시기 뭐보 남는 로와이나리 바스는 로와이나리 네 사베라스보다 지용긴 장에 배셔던 소소야만 로와이나리 그 소소기 인반이 배셔던 그렇게 참고했어.
Likewise, whether we
지나기
traveling,
콜링카라 로와이나리 거이나야
whether we are
장에
traveling,
가르다 배셔던 와이나.
whether we are traveling through airplane or train, bus, this all facilities, and likewise also the garden, the park, then we must utilize all those facilities as one's own.
그래서 처마데 그 메모게 깔레제 가지고 배셔 니에 가지고 저기 가지고 땅에 차고 그랬어.
All of these facilities are actually made out of the effort of public people.
대체대 가서는 거주대 배셔던 그랬어. 같은 단칸바리 그 가서는 때 내양한 롱션 마셔나 같은 때그 사양 디바지다 가양 디바지 배셔 마도나 처음부터 나좀 내놓으라 했어.
And whatever we may need it, that we need to utilize, since we are the kind of like a desire beings. So we need to rely on those desirable objects, like that the sufficient food and sufficient clothes and so on, that whatever it is required in order to survive, and that we have a right to utilize.
다티 잡자 제가 그 미라 말아 줘봐 찍찍 돌 내가 전부 넣었어.
And this is something I feel very important, the distinguish between the good and bad person.
당연히 땡이 있어야 돼. 그 소소를 거긴도 세나 제가 세계 말다스.
And
근조대 치 네버도 소소 같이 야보다 잠보 제투에 나다. 제나 디고레스.
I'm not saying that although we need it, but still we have to be very stingy. I'm not saying that. And then if there are any things that if one need it, then yes, we must utilize it.
어다 디게 지공 디게 단다데 드니치 땡거레스. 몸보치 차로스.
That's the one stanza. The meaning of that one stanza is that.
다 대한 정말 되는 지치는 저도 고야 민족 여부로고 나고 없어.
And maybe if I say everything, whatever I think, then maybe you all may get bored.
디한테 가서 가 카잡아 얘기면서 나랑 그냥 라는 되는데 간투도 따고였어.
And I'm not saying this just being a big mouth. And for myself, I also trying my best to implement in this way.
아 가만 데디디 가서라야 잡아대서다 럽루대서라 내해제디에 타라 제고였어.
And when I was staying in Namdolling Monastery, I also explaining all those monks and students in this way.
가르스나 다 잡아다 주마대서라고이나 건바 시기 장의 장창 비셰 동이지 자고라서 또 돌아 하바도 개참을 자고도스.
Why? It is because the monks and nuns, we are kind of like dependent or rely on the kind of like the general's belongings, that we are relying on utilizing those things. So therefore, able to be care in those utilizing all those things, it's very important.
이나야 저쪽에야 소속 배샤 개녀조 인상에 배샤 방하야마도 나도 다때 잠불리 되는데 이런 얘기 짜니 짜송짜 이장아 쟤네 마마 소야 섬 땅으로 다스.
But also you guys,
소망나도 배샤 땅으로 야선.
but although you guys are not like us, that you guys are buying by your own money, but still don't think that I bought this by myself, my money, therefore I can use whatever I want. Don't think that way, and then by thinking that way, and then also messing up everything and not leaving anything for the future generation, then that is also becomes improper.
뭐야, 다 저렇게 찌래. 찌다. 근데 다 장치 로지 만종 봐. 더 진짜 람다 똥스. 그나 본주 스타보면 내 밤에 파이션스.
And the next one is without having developed loving kindness in their own mind streams. They let the enemies do whatever they want, and thus clearly show everyone their own cowardliness. This is also the fault of carelessness.
한때 가르치는 거로서나 잠시 로지 만종 봐. 더 진짜 람다 똥스. 다 잠세게 잠바다 희예게 소수그 주대 네 폴제네 단다 배나 장거는 뭐지게 오늘 수고도 와서 가르스나 다 공기 잠바다 희예게 검검네 강삼지다 로 검체네 아니지 게다 파르시스나 붙인데 기파 메로자지 파 연재 제한다고 짠이 지금도 스테이지에 온다고 된데 가서나야 게도다고 된데 게 파트야서야 근데 지금에 숨도 왔어. 근데 다보다 소식이 줄라 근데 잠바다 니제게 론존에 다다고 게다고 파치다고 서야 짠이 마통에 차구나 아니 그게 가가래서.
So here it's saying without having developed loving kindness in their own mind streams. So which means that they not well trained one's own mind, but training on those loving kindness and compassion and so on, and without able to liberate one's mind out of all those practice. That, for instance, if the one's mind is liberated by practicing or training into those all loving kindness and compassion, and then not seeing anything that which are not object of loving kindness and compassion, then that may be okay. For instance, like the Holiness Dalai Lama, that he said by himself that he trained his own mind towards this loving kindness and compassion, and so often and constantly. So therefore, I feel that I trained this loving kindness and compassion. So I didn't see any out there object that which to neglect or reject. So everybody becomes the object of my loving kindness and compassion. And so therefore he used to say that even during empowerment, that actually at the beginning there's a ritual has to be done, that dispelling out the obstacles. And then the Holiness Dalai Lama used to say that I don't do this ritual dispelling out the obstacles because I didn't see any obstacles out there. So if that's the case, then this is something different case.
Today 마인바 또 소소 지금 론다 연사 그 차동 그 로데 여인도 아니 다라야 당하선다고 년라야 잠바선다고 가두다고 자연다고 가야매바 차소나 인디게 말씀 그래서.
And how to say, without that kind of developed the loving kindness and compassion, and having all those, the hatred and desire and all this, but yet pretending or kind of like behaving that even the enemies cause some problem and ignoring and letting it be, even as some kind of like relatives, friends, providing support, help, and then it is just neglecting, ignoring, and that kind of things is something not really proper.
단단히 가지고 내게 잡아야 돼. 이때 밀루지가 전에 그 제기요레스.
And then at this moment, right now, what we are describing, all this scripture is based on that worldly point of view.
지나던 이때 밀루 양다바지 제와이나야 담비 최단 틀고 그래서.
Therefore, that even who follow this the worldly system properly, and that automatically becomes very much matched with the spiritual path.
그러나 가지고 그다 저번 처선 대선다고 이나야 여기 잡어래 이때 밀로 제국 왔어.
For instance, the Tibet king, the Chisong Dorzen, that he was a king of Tibet, so therefore he have to act according to the worldly.
코나고 있는 가서 예만 얘기 장아서 가서 제대 최선된지 야구래 안에 제나 이제는 가서 그 조생기 주바 되는 거나 지금에 그 주바 터선 그 집에 담바한테 지려왔어.
In fact, that he was among the 25 great disciples of Guru Padmasambhava, and then he is also comes in this Dzogchen lineage masters. So the fact he is actually the Mahasiddhas who accomplish.
전에끌라 로지스타 보면 내 밤에 봐야 시나서. 당가서 괜찮은 님의 변속에 원수 마셔 연생 마투세네 당마치 송야레스.
And also the Khenchen Jigme Phunso from the Tibet, and he also gave this advice that the Rongsu Mashur, Chansin Matu. Not to lose self-control or something like that. Not to give up. Do not give up our own path, and do not disturb others. That advice that given by Khenchen Jigme Phunso.
대단히 다 란수 마셔서야 돼. 이 론지스타고 몸서야 돼. 소수게 미 다카서다. 미 파쇼를 때네 소수게 지노게 내동 참마파 땡야지야 말세 그 시거레스.
And then what does it mean that do not give up one's own path? That advice means it's the based on others, for the others' face, that don't put it out everything.
람상 미지더니 주라보자니 내야 그 거가 맞으면은 소수게 내동 차동으로 버지 받대야 하는 거.
So it is like immediately that without getting familiar with the others, or without knowing very well others, then showing all and everything your characteristic to the others.
가는 작업이나 당하라레스 미게이나 당하라레스 파조데 소수직 톱사레다 말에 소수직 줌 연아레마도 바로 볼직 다사야나보다 아니 직내자야나보다 특제도야나보다 궁금하레스.
And this is something whether between the countries or between the individuals, it is all same that they will not going to disturb or tease others until they know very well others' countries, such as that, that whether that other country really I can defeat them or not. Without knowing properly, they won't really do any distress.
뜻이 소수게 내동 가래이나 자산데 바로 볼로 주요의 자산하다 고 알세우다 인지하는 것은 셰르샤야 말세 그 자리에서.
So therefore, without knowing other properly well, and it is better not to share one's everything.
뜻이 다 디게 가르치가 없으나 가서 나서 그 드라마 채와대 동본년게 돈을 판로고요 그래서.
Why it is important? It is because the most of the enemies becomes enemy first becoming a relatives or friends.
맞도 믿자 맹에 주맹에 지도니 다차야서 시다 요마르스.
And except then that the not knowing person or the stranger we not really becomes enemy.
대치리 가서 동부 잡아서 아니 바로 보기 내동도 자동거 맞을 거는 소직 내동 자동 지에 봐서 근데 바로 보되게 되니 거지 바로도 지 랜로드 가서 되니 그 내동에서 소만 유열했다. 누가 자야게 다서야다 내자야다 네 덮자 동안라서 봐 참아드니 유열했어.
So therefore, that getting all those enemies and disdains from others is the one way it is just before you knowing very well the others, sharing everything what you are, and that is the mistake that is the point that makes others to disdain to oneself, and that is the point to become others to enemy to oneself.
Yeah, bomb by insurance. Nima, Zimmy Juma Mahepa, Luda Tamda Shalan, Kundan Rimbi Kuchin, near Mammy Bomb by insurance.
And then without having, the next one is without having realized non-grasping and the illusory nature, they roam around everywhere, say whatever comes to mind, and associate with anyone who comes their way. This makes everyone mock them. This is also the fault of carelessness.
But take it and that and that human is. Takon Zimmy Juma to Shachin, Nanjoba, Ane Seniba, Tako Chadder, Tene Chaswaina, Yan Nedan Kakares.
And that is also similar like above, that if the person they realize and non-grasping and then understanding the illusory nature of all the phenomena, if that means if the person becomes genuine yogi, then that's exceptional.
Nanjoba Seni the Debatini Chana, Janaki Talamanya Dabatini Chasona, Tico Karisijeres.
For instance, like there's a history in China that Qigong, that mate monk, Mat monk, right? Mat monk, the Qigong, crazy monk, yeah. So that's Qigong that happened in history in China. So if one become like him, and then this is exceptional. This is different story.
Timai Baget, the Luke Inare, Taminare, Shalaminare, Metsama, the needed Tanakonsia, and social Mazumachini, and the Kandan de Chegavate, and the Metomake, and then you get on the child race.
And without being like him, that kind of yogi, the genuine yogi, and then without having all those realized, then kind of like behaving this, they roam around everywhere and say whatever comes to mind and associate with anyone who comes their way. And behaving in this way will makes everyone mock. They translated mock, actually it is more worse than mock, actually slender or distant, and this makes everyone disdain them, and therefore this is also the fault of carelessness.
Montechi Castle, the Nanjopan Siniba Cha, the Cartegore. Londo da Gado Kaya, Magana Chasona, the content the Chen Tigores.
And then on the other case, that if the one become genuine yogi and then able to control all the phenomena and then behaving whatever want, and that may be okay.
Tingoma don't chance a head or just say come to Choladan, the naked Nanjoba get a chamuch chundas.
And there's also one history in Tibet, there's one great master called Dochense Shidorje.
The Kong Padurumatic Lamares.
And he was the teacher of Padurumbuche.
The Ko Kambak Luseche, Tasha, Mandaku, Tamate, Tini Nabache, the words.
And then that great yogi Dochenze Shitoje, who is teacher of Patrul, and he said doing the calm traditional way that he's carrying gun, and then he's smoking, and then he's hunting the animals.
전에 총을 통고 그랬을까.
And then he also drink alcohol.
전 바르르 뭐지 괜찮았다. 이마지래 총 통라질래 우리 가서 바르르 뭐지 당일라마데 총도 마투나 지기도 뭐 말했어.
And then that while the one day that when Patrul Rinpoche consult this his teacher, then his teacher Dochenze Shitoje, he was drunk, and then Patrul Rinpoche thought it in his mind, this my teacher, at least if he don't drunk, he thought it in his mind.
남산 공공전에 저 인지대 시마토네 대전에 되게 말씀 딱 응아말 땐 따네 지도했어.
And then immediately after Patrul Rinpoche thought in this way, and then this teacher Dochenze Shitoje, and that kind of dualistic mind that you are unable to break until now. So, and then the Dochenze Shitoje, tied Patrul Rinpoche on the tail of the horse, and then let horse run.
근데 곧 gamma 탔었어.
And then Patrul Rinpoche was fainted.
근데 야 템바지 세우고 가서 니루 되고 하고 전에 근데 모터도 이렇게 해야
And then when he was awake from faint, and then that's the moment, that's the time that Patrul Rinpoche really realized the true nature of mind.
니마지래 농성지게 아마 통했어.
And then one day there's a one family member, there's a one family, and then that family lost the mother.
근데 노체제 해다지 그 신조제가 저 샤든 세야 말다 신조제가 보안하고 제가 깨닫 말했어.
And then that family member, the main family member, invited this Dochenze Shitoje to perform some ritual, to do a liberation ritual for their mom.
근데 그 레버했어.
Such as doing poa and so on. And then Dochenze Shitoje came.
그 논을 내고 아니 그 타만텐 계자시 남다시 타만텐 대바랬어.
And then Dochenze Shitoje came to the house and then just sit there and smoking and then just talking, kind of like unrelated conversation. He just talk there.
근데 반삼지를 닦고 묘하다 지어는 키쇼 닦고 내가 여기 있음 나가랬어.
And then after some time, and then he asked that family members, if you have any offer, bring it now. Now I have to go.
근데 건도 야바랬어. 대막 질론로 찾대 갔을 때 논을 샵된 시간 지마서 니까 지제게 말하였으니 쉬바랬어.
And then when he's about to left, then this family member asked, and then you came, you visit, but you didn't perform any ritual. So isn't it that you need to perform some rituals, liberation rituals?
당에 참아 제 차이 저런 이마전에 야손에 그 타만 텐데 이제 그 텔라데 타마 데디가 타마 돼가지고 신옥 때 말했을 거지 그 가르쳤다 뭐도요. 지금 뭐지 너는 텔라 루치니 태야저라 들여다 버리마다 단다 효우게 타마도 말어.
And then Dochenze Shitoje respond to them that I performed all the liberation ritual. If you don't believe, just go and check the secret. At that time, secret is not like today, that they have this very long and they put the all ashes on the top, and then they they smoke, right? They smoke.
그 갈래 아니.
What do you call it? That, do you know any specific name for that? The very kind of like a
long
ancient style smoking.
pipe.
A pipe, yeah, a pipe. A pipe. And then Dochenze Shidoji told them, look and check the pipe.
네, 아마 인세 땅사이스 라우레스.
And then he said that he did fire puja for your mother.
저이 마시나 야도는 테라는 따뜻해더니 그 타마텐지 테라 본 야도나마 아마 그 리바 차상지. 예선 라우레 따디 해버렸어.
And then he said, if you don't believe, go check that pipe. And then when they go and check the pipe, then within that check, wherever he used to smoke and make a fire there, and all the bone of the mother is all there.
따뜻해다고 그 뭐네게 남자바 챙이바 그 지메게 주마 따도 샤네 니코 저기니로 타친 순조이나 니코 강정내랬고.
And like that kind of genuine yogi, the realized master, so the realized non-grasping and the illusory nature, then that type of person can perform anything.
전나정아서게 그 때로바도 나로바 그 로지다 산노 토나야다 때로바다고 있는 메셀에 추가를 돈 냐정좀 존데 냐정의 유대는 들어왔어.
And likewise, also the another Mahasiddha's history like Telopa and Naropa. And then, for instance, Telopa, that the whole his life, it is just spending sitting beside the kind of like a lake or the pond, and then catching all those fish all the time. That kind of behave, they just doing whole their life.
다 된다고 해나 그 솔직히 니트고 말았어 콜라.
And if that kind of genuine yogi, then no one really can disdain or surrender.
내가 가래라고 라바이나야 콜라 가연 좋았다고 말았어.
Whatever others said, and it doesn't make any difference to them.
근데 많이 봐. 아니 단지대 현재 하나 좀 이때 몇 찍고 지생인 발라. 근데 그 지난주 밖에 그 가서 인도도 제니 때 가는 먼저 제가 있나. 근데 사사버렸어.
And not like them, and having all these emotions as ordinary beings, but yet behaving or acting like them, then that becomes like an object to get disdain and surrender from others.
강 정주 제 가르는데 제가 있나. 근데 콜레야 말씀이 잘했어.
And
솔직히 저당마야 솔직히 야마제 같은 잘했어.
without that kind of realizations, if one perform that the nonsense way of nonsense things, then everybody will going to be mocked or surrender or distant them. Then that person becomes like not, how to say, respectless. Becomes respectless.
대지디 가서 소설 그 추대 소설 그 존에 룸바르레라 람루스레레 요래 이템류 공도 집인데 야보레 네 두자레 네 제거레 네 제거 말을 세야지요레 디토랑도 그랬어.
So therefore, according to the worldly, and then there's systems according to the country as well. So whether this kind of behave considering good in this country or not good in this country, according to the system of the countries, then we need to better to how to say, merge with it.
리중단 들어가야 비치. 리중 근데 이렇게 소소소 달고 미리단 그 작업에 소소 자동단 팀이게 리중 노노라 야라다 마라케 노당지요레스.
Likewise, the related with the cultures or related with the how to say, based on the cultures, there's also systems that some things considering as a good, some it's considering bad, and whatever considered bad or good based on a culture. And then once, if we don't have that kind of realizations, then it's better to act according to it. the culture systems.
근데 그메쇼 해마제 바 근데 미팅 콘티겐 롱yen no 다른 내 밤에 바이션스.
And then the next one, without having denunciation and sorrowful disillusionment, they do not get along with anyone, always ready to explode in anger. Their perception of self and others are based on a feeling threatened, appearance arising as the enemy. This is also the fault of carelessness.
다 대야 그메쇼 해마제 바로 세우디 가서네. 콜 로마이네 가니 빈도이네 도고 도모이네 다 대소 짠이 그바 봐. 대소 되게 고 유니보 냠도 되게 봐. 아니 고 야시디라 소소 찍고 시 마시디라 소소 찍고 시 그야 봐. 되게 돈이다 고지 코위게다 되게 지 콜롬마다 년년에다 많이 빈지사다 되서 정말라 쇼히티니 시에 타마케 바토스.
So that without having renunciation, that needlessness, without having needlessness, that until the having this genuine renunciations or needlessness of the spouse or friends and relatives and brothers, sisters, and so on, all those, that until we have a genuine needlessness of all these facilities, the worldly facilities.
가는 코알라 쇼히제제네 다 시디라 소소시 마시디라 쇼시 죽고 가장 마돌린 노사메와치.
Having very genuine renunciation in this samsara, and that with the realize or with the understanding of that when we born alone, and when we die, and we must die alone. So there's nothing that it is really to carry on with oneself. That kind of recognition or realizations of renunciation.
자 딘데기로 마체게 바돌라 근다 미티네 다 소소게
until having that kind of recognition or the realizations.
딘데기로 지체서나 소소 리다 메마나 이세디 같은 리다 메마 세디가서 리다 메 찬요되죠. 근데 그런 캐찬지부 옌 딘데기다 고메 차소나 니바요 말와 디지디가서 샘찬다 바 옛날 사야다 바지 여자야 그 돈이 그런 지고 사자 옛날 뻔뻔잖아 데니도 세거라.
And if person have a genuine, really true renunciation, then maybe it is just okay to solitude oneself, just like those the wild animal who got wounded, and when the wild animal got wounded, and then they will isolate themselves. They will never going to along with the other animals.
된다 이번에 제멜라를 받나 예체는 근데 그런 지고 수지라 때문에 가지는 일을 처와지는 루여스.
Likewise, the example the Milarepa, that he is isolating himself alone.
근데 많이나 근데 소소달라 연조게 아니 거치 도코토모이나레 자미이나레 부이나레 아니 소소게 직 로마이나레 아니 요코이나레 다 되돌아 뛴거 거래서.
If person is not like that, then the person must need to cooperate or harmonize with the family members or friends and so on.
대치자 정말이 가보이나레 아니 요코이나레
and whether
침세이나레
whether with the neighbor, with the lover, with a spouse, and with a servant, and all of them, we need to cooperate or we need to harmonize.
That's
why it is the one time that Holiness Dalai Lama also in one of his advice that he mentioned about. And for instance, if oneself is king, if we don't cooperate with our servant who the sheikh who is the cook of the king, and then they not really cooperating with the cook, that doing whatever king wants, then one day this cook get very, what you call, frustrated out of his behavior. Then if the cook left, at that moment, then what it becomes like that, what the king wants to eat the food, that food you will not going to get it. The king will not going to get it, that food. And therefore, that Holiness said, even though king has to cooperate and harmonize with the cook. So therefore, this we human are social animals. So therefore, it is very important for human to cooperate and harmonize each other. And whether that others are great knowledgeable or not, whether others are very capable or not, regardless whether those are poor or rich, and then we must has to harmonize or cooperate. That never knows that when that you may need that person. And we human has to survive and then protect by the community or the society. So therefore, we needed the various kind of people. For instance, within this city, if everyone is doctor, this doctor, not talking about the medical doctor, this the scholar doctor. If that's the case, then who will going to take care the cleaning and the building house and the and all those kind of like other chores, who will and those are the jobs that has to be done by unknowledgeable person. That who will going to do it if everyone is doctor? So therefore, and needed various type of person. And when I was in monastery, I also think in this way. And there's some monk whose behavior are very improper normally, but yet when monastery has to do this kind of like a dirty cleaning and very hot sun, some job has to be done in a very hot weather and that kind of very difficulties, and they are so great and so good at doing all these things. And if all the monks in the monasteries are very good in studying and very wearing all the clothes properly and very straightforward, then who will going to take care of that? So therefore, when there's a community, then this we need to have a various type of person. Now our Lord Holiness also tell us about this all the time. So therefore, that has to harmonize and cooperate with everyone. And without harmonizing or cooperating with the others, then doing always what one wants to do, and then they always having some sort of like a suspect and doubt on others' behavior and others' act. And if one carry continue in this way, and that all the appearance arise as the enemy, so that means that whatever appearance in front of you, that when someone says something, when someone talk each other something, and immediately you start to doubting, oh, they may talking about me, blah blah blah, like that kind of unnecessary thought arise. And then while letting arise unnecessary thought in this way, then eventually all the appearance becomes like the unpleasant or enemy for oneself. And for instance, even someone who just split it out somewhere, and then immediately you think, oh, he may doing this to me. And likewise, there's two people talking each other, conversating each other, and immediately raising the doubt, oh, they may talking about me. And then, therefore, eventually, if we continue in this way, then that we will going to have the dislike to see anyone, and then whatever appears, it's all becomes like an unpleasant enemy, and then that leads us towards depression. That is also happening out of this carelessness. And then, unless that, even though we are unable to perform like the way that Holiness Dalai Lama doing it, that not seeing any things as an enemy or the obstacles to dispel out. Even though we are unable to do this way, but at least that whatever surrounded people, like a family or the servant or relatives and neighbors, and within those, then one must cooperate and harmonize and work together and support each other, and that we must try to do it, because doing all these things is actually for our own benefit, for our own happiness. That when someone shows smile on oneself, and then as it brings happy. Smile? Yeah, smile, not smell, sorry. When someone shows smile on me, am I feeling happy? So therefore, that the first we need to smile to them. Then they will smile on us. And without smiling to them, always waiting other to smile on me, and that's very difficult. So therefore, always show the smile on people surrounded you. That if I show smile every time, if I show smile the surrounded people, then surrounded people will going to show the smile also to me. So then we can live always forever with a smile. That is the happiness, that according to the worldly, mundane, that is happiness. Therefore, for the purpose of the how to say, happy living oneself, then it is always how to say, worth to cooperate and harmonize with the people who are surrounded, and then also that removing and reducing all the doubt and suspicious to the surrounded people. That is the doing so, it brings self-benefit. And for instance, that even though some people gazing on me, or some people doing something improper to me, but still, if I think, oh, maybe I am wrong, maybe he's not doing this to me, maybe he's not gazing this to me, if I just let it be, ignore in this way, then other one is also human. So therefore, 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, then other people will going to be also consider that, oh, so this person's that how much if I did it, but still he's just letting it be. So therefore, I must stop. They will consider themselves. And therefore, all these problems is always begins from very tiny, small. And even the one have a spouse, if one have a spouse, and this is also very important. And that we need to try and think to neglecting those small, tiny problems.
근데 다 저가도 돌아온 데스지 라바이나 제메데가 나면 땅에 테마지라 미라 숨라 이거 봐줘대 미자 방산지래 고가 태도 그랬어.
For instance, that if the husband say something bad to wife, and if the wife just be patient with it, and then just let it be once, then 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, then the husband is also human, so he will going to consider about it.
제메이나야 저가라다 근데chen 찌기다 남의 땅토나 티고 디도 그랬어.
And then likewise the let's say husband, and then when wife kind of like creating this small problem, if the husband be patient with it, that however that one side has to be patient with it.
테마도 내주 충충지를 때 수지라데 파질라 수지 제리 파지 제되는데 제로더니 내서는 강한 원은 인자로 먹어.
Without that, then without neglecting those small, tiny problems, then when husband says something, then wife respond back. Then when wife says something, husband respond back. Then these small, tiny problems will going to become very big. And then at the end, they both are fall into the difficulties.
다들이 오다다란 참 이야기 있어.
So we will going to stop here today. Okay, then now we do dedication. Sanam de banje se banje, kone ne verana banje de, shaka manje oran chupai, sipen zolen do ano ashu, jangan dvare chita jamba do, bundo sambo deyan de jende, deda kunji jesu kaloji, Yawan de da danje rado mo, yawan de shivo, zaman ye she totoni, zaman ye she lejoni, amba gunye baba sho, sanje toson ye pe chavana, chenye mingyura nembe chavana, yende meche nembe chavana, yeda mo amaranga Read in English. By this beneficial activity, may I obtain omniscience, and having vanquished the harmful enemies, greed, anger, delusion, may I liberate all beings just about helplessness by the waves of birth, aging, illness, and death in the ocean of ignorance. By conforming to the knowledge of courageous Manjushri, Jambanya, and in the same way as Samantha Kundusambo, and following their example, I dedicated perfectly all this virtue. By this virtue may all beings perfectly achieve the accumulation of marriage, Swana, and wisdom, Yeshi. And may they thereafter obtain the 2 holy bodies, which result from this 2 accumulation. By the blessing of the Buddha, Sangha, who obtained the 3 bodies, by the blessing of the immutable truth of the Dharmata, Chuni, by the blessing of the infallible aspiration of the Sangha, Yenden, may this prayer of dedication be accomplished just as it is. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Kula. Thank you, Tukula.
Bye.
Tukula.
Good night.
Thank you,